From Atlanta, Georgia, welcome to Fearfully and Wonderfully Me, a podcast for women on leadership and life skills with Rhea Story. Rhea shares powerful life and leadership principles, helping you maximize your potential and become the woman God created you to be.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode on winning the name game. You know, I meet a lot of people. Mac and I, between our speaking and training and working with organizations and speaking at conferences, and then too, just people I meet, you know, when I teach at the gym and in the day-to-day lives of people I encounter, I meet a lot of people. I meet someone every new day and sometimes hundreds of people in a single day. And, you know, I think that Dale Carnegie said it best that remembering a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. And it's so true. You know, when you remember and repeat and use someone's name in conversation with them, it really just makes them just light up because it makes them feel valued as a person. And yet, I hear so many people say, well, I'm just not good at names. And I openly confess to you that I'm not good at names either. But I've learned that the greatest way to really connect with someone and show that you care about them is to ask for, use, and remember their name. And you know, as I just said, I'm not very good at remembering people's names, but I've learned that there are some things I can do to get better at it. And over time, I've worked really, really hard to get better at remembering people's names. I don't always get it right, even today, but I really this is something that's very important to me. And I make such an effort with it because it is so important in connecting with people. Now, notice that you don't have any trouble remembering the names of people that you meet who are very important, like your new boss or someone you're really excited to meet, like a celebrity. You know, remembering names, it definitely takes effort, and we don't have to spend a whole lot of effort when that person is very important to us in our world. Where we have to spend the extra effort to remember somebody's name is when maybe we have just met them and we don't really know them as a person. And so that's when it takes a little bit extra effort. Now, here's the thing. If you tell yourself you're never going to be good at this, you won't be because you won't put any effort into it. But I can tell you, I mean, I meet sometimes hundreds of people in a day, and I've gotten much better at this by diligently trying. So I wanted to share with you today how what I call win the name game. And this is a chapter straight out of my book called Straight Talk, The Power of Effective Communication. And in this chapter, I share 8 tips on remembering someone's name. Now, I know it's a challenge, but these are some things that I've used and that really help me remember names. Now, they may not all work for you. You may not need them all, but these are just some ideas that you can use to help remember names and help show people that they are important. So I'm just going to share these briefly with you. And of course, if you want to dig more into this, it is a chapter right in my book. So I'm cover the highlights here. And then if you need more, feel free to dig in later. So number 1, when you meet someone for the first time, immediately repeat back their name. So when you shake their hand and they say, "Hey, my name is Alice," you say, "Hello, Alice. It's great to meet you." So just immediately repeat back their name. You know that you're paying attention because you know you're going to have to repeat it back. Number 2, associate the name to someone else you know. Think of there's someone else in your circle or your family of friends or coworkers that has the same name. Number 3, think of something you can associate their name with. So, for example, if you meet someone named Sally, think of Sally, like Sally who sold the seashells by the seashore. I know it kind of seems silly, but it helps you connect the dots. Number 4, ask how they spell it. This is a big one for me because I'm a very visual person. And there's almost always more than one way to spell a name. Now, if their name is Bob, don't ask them to spell it. But if their name is maybe uncommon or if there are multiple ways to spell it. So, for example, Kathy or Christine could be spelled with a K or a CH. So just ask that. And a lot of times that will help you see it in your brain, and then you can remember it. Write it down. It's not always possible, but some settings, this can be really helpful. If you've got a little notebook, or maybe you're in a class setting, you can jot down some notes. That can be really helpful. Number 6, ask them to tell you something unique about themselves. It's kind of a good icebreaker question as well. Hey, it's really great to meet you, Melissa. Tell me something unique about yourself. And if they're not sure how to answer, you can always follow up with, well, tell me something you do for fun. Or ask something like, what's the wildest, craziest, spontaneous thing you've done? Just ask a open-ended question to get to know them a little better. Number 7, associate them with something famous or someone famous. Now, not everyone's going to have a name like someone famous does, but when it happens, it's easy for you to remember. Hey, it's nice to meet you, Teresa. And then you can remember to yourself, Teresa, like Mother Teresa. Number 8, ask how they got their name. Now, maybe they don't have a name like someone famous, but just asking where their name originated is a good way to connect with them. If they have a name that's a little unusual, it may be a family name that's been passed on for generations. So again, you certainly can't use all 8 of these ideas with the same person, but choose the 1 or 2 that best fits you and best fits the situation, and that will help you go a long way toward remembering that person's name. And like anything, practice helps improvement. Maybe not perfect. I still get this wrong, and I still don't remember everyone's name. But you absolutely can get better at it. Mac and I spoke for a group, a business success series group, last week, and there were probably about 30 people in this all-day workshop. And I got the opportunity before the workshop to go around and meet just about everybody. And then it was really neat to be able to, as the morning session went on, later even into the afternoon, to be able to comment or engage with that person, even while teaching, and say, thanks for the input or the comment that they offered. Or, you could tell when they had a question and you say, oh, that's a good question. Let me elaborate, Sandy, just a little bit more. And so, these aren't tricks that really help you manipulate someone, but really just connect with them just because they are people and you care about them as people. And using their name will demonstrate, number 1, that you were paying attention when they gave their name to you. And number 2, that you do care about them. And one more thing on names, because I think a lot of us, I know I could have benefited from this over the years, is get used to introducing yourself to someone so that your name is easy to remember. We call this saying it so it sticks. I think the best example I have is how my husband Mac introduces himself. He says, "My name is Mac," like the truck, but a lot smaller. And it never fails. People laugh, and then they kind of get a visual of his name because he gives them a visual image to connect to. Now, it may take you a little time to figure out something about your name, but it's well worth it because then when you introduce yourself to someone, you can say, hey, my name is Rhea, like Kia, the car, but with an R. So brainstorm for a little bit on how you can make yourself stand out when you're introducing to someone, and then also work on ways that you can remember the other person's name. You will find that your influence with people greatly increases, particularly over time. Until next time.
Start increasing your influence and maximizing your potential with Rhea's audiobooks. Available at audible.com, amazon.com, and iBooks. Please visit rheastory.com to learn about Rhea's books, resources, speaking, and training programs. Thanks for listening.